This started. Alright, there we go. We're recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SPS Debo. This is me trying out the CarnEvil build on PTR server right now. I'm trying to think if there's anything important I need to talk about. Well, the biggest change right now, and I'm going to make a video that talks about all the indal changes, is there's so much stuff that came out. Okay, first of all, Seasons is ending on the 5th. And it's going to begin again, Season 3 on the 10th. So I'm going to talk about that in another video. There's a lot of stuff going on. The main thing I wanted to test this day is they buffed CarnEvil, the 6-piece Zuni monster. So as you can see, at first it was 100%, then it was, I do believe, 150. Now it's all the way up to 275% for the Zuni monster 6-piece, making this actually a pretty straightforward, viable build. For which, I mean, CarnEvil build is already viable. I heard the world record's like 46 right now. Heard some people are happy with the Zuni set, get up to 50. So using the certain abilities where we're going to have mana spenders, and plus also since now fetishes, when you actually have, I'll show you guys, when you actually have fetishes out, they actually affect your toughness now. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. The more fetishes you have out, the more survivability you get, which is a pretty cool change, and I like that. So as you can see, when you summon the fetishes, you get more toughness. And then also, they changed fetish sycophants to basically be, let me see if it says it. Well, fetish sycophants now does the following. Whatever your highest element is, those fetishes are going to be poison. Or, I'm sorry, not poison, but whatever your highest elemental is. So if you're rocking fire and you start generating fetish from the passive, it's going to be fire property ones and cold and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. So I just wanted to talk to that, but basically with CarnEvil that really doesn't mean anything because the fetishes were automatically being converted, the damage is automatically being converted to poison when they shoot darts, so that really doesn't apply to the CarnEvil too much. So let's just run through everything I'm using. I'm using Int, Vitality, crit percent chance in a socket. I have cooldown reduction. I don't really think I need that. I probably could run Amistat, and I probably should. I mean, I'm not really rocking. Am I rocking cooldown reduction? I think I swapped out my gear later, though. But then again, it may not be a bad thing to run that cooldown reduction because Paragon's a Paragon. I'll tell you what. I think I have enough toughness. I think I should be okay. We're going to go ahead and keep that. Usually, I would run more survivability, Amistat, run the shoulders that have the extra survivability stats. But Int, Vitality, critical percent chance socket on the CarnEvil. On the shoulder, we have Int, Vitality, cooldown reduction, and fetish army damage. On the chest, we have Int, Vitality, fetish army damage. On the necklace, intelligence, critical percent chance, and critical damage, and a socket, of course. We have the new Zuni monster gloves was included in the game. Int, attack speed, critical damage, and critical chance. I also have the Octo Search, poison, Int, Vitality, critical chance. We also have the Belt of Transcendence. Belt of Transcendence summons a fetish sycophant whenever we hit with the mana spender. It kind of makes sense, and of course we got the dart damage on there because they changed that a while back where dart damage affects all the fetishes. So it makes sense to have this belt while running the 6-piece Zuni because we might as well benefit from both of them, and that allows us to basically run a spender inside the CarnEvil build that doesn't necessarily affect when we're shooting darts, and it also allows for us to get a fetish every time we summon them, and that actually makes a pretty big difference. And I can drop fetish sycophants because you don't need to run the passive anymore if you're wearing the belt. That's what will be coming in the next season, or in the next patch, I should say. I do believe this is going to be a standard item. We got the Unity Ring, of course. We have the Ring of Royal Grandeur. We have the Dagger of Darts. We have the Zuni Monster Trails on the shoes and the offhand. The thing about the offhand I need to comment about, in the future, the Zuni Monster String of Skulls, what's going to happen to it is it's going to automatically come with fetish army damage. So you'll be able to, I think, get fetish army damage and dart damage on your offhand. They're going to have an extra primary on there for fetish army damage. We'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong. I don't know if you can have both, but I'll let you guys know in the future. But I'm just letting you know that's what they're changing to it. And let me see. Outside of all that, the gems, of course, Simplicity Strength, because that increases dart damage or primary skill damage, which is dart damage, which increases fetish damage. Gogaka Swiftness, because attack speed, the faster I attack, the faster the fetishes can attack, which basically means more volleys and more damage. And the Enforcer Gem, just so that, you know, we deal more damage with the Enforcer Gem. And that's pretty much straightforward choices right there. In terms of my skills, Poison Dart, Snake to the face, it does Poison damage, it also has a chance to stun, and with Dagger of Darts, it goes through multiple enemies, so it means for chance for multiple stuns, and it actually stuns Rift Guardian, so we're definitely going to run that. I run Spirit Barrage Phantasm. What this actually does is, this is a mana spender, costs 100 mana, summons a Spectre, Cold Spectre. You see the damage there, you can have 3 out at a time, and as you can see, it doesn't cost a lot of mana, and I'm also running the Rush of Essence passive, so this is going to be a big trigger for our mana spender. So we can keep that up, very low cost. And as you can see, I could shoot darts and then toss out one and then just keep shooting darts, and it's really not too bad. It doesn't interrupt the flow of you shooting darts. Some people say, why don't you use Haunt? Haunt, I guess I could see some people using, but the way I just thought about it myself is like, well, if I'm using Haunt, you know, it's one target at a time, and the Haunt hits one target, and that target gets the effect of the Zuni Master, and that's it. So then I start thinking to myself, well, I'm like, if I cast 3 Phantasms, it's hitting multiple enemies, it has a pretty decent radius, and they're going to be affected by it. Not to mention, I also have my Paragon of Paragon to tag all the enemies, hit multiple enemies at once so they can use the spender. You can also use it in combination with like Acid Cloud, Acid Rain, which is good because it makes a big 24-yard radius, and if they just touch the acid, whether they're getting hit by the initial impact or the radius that it spreads around it, they will take that extra little damage from the Zuni Maso. So that's why I chose to run Rush of Essence, because it just seemed to make the most sense. It's an AoE spell, hits multiple targets, cheap casting costs. I can have 3 of them out doing their damage, chills, and it triggers the Zuni Maso effect. Sounds like a good plan to me. Spirit Walk with Jaunt. Of course, you want Jaunt, 3 seconds more in the Spirit Realm. Fetish Harmony, Legion of Daggers, that didn't change because the damage is going to be converted over to poison. Hex with Jinx is something I opted instead of Acid Cloud because our Acid Rain or Acid Cloud or, oh man, I'm sorry guys, I've been streaming for 12 hours straight today. Acid Cloud with Acid Rain is a good alternative, but I prefer Hex because they changed Hex to Hex all the enemies I do believe is sit within a 12-yard radius. It can only happen so often, but within a 12-yard radius, and any enemy that gets Hex, you know, they get CC'd, they also take 20% increased damage. You got Piranhas and Paranado. And that's pretty straightforward. That's the big one because it's a mana spender, and all enemies affected by it also take 15% additional damage. We also have Pierce the Veil for the damage. Grave Injustice helps us with Piranhas and Paranado. Spirit Vessel, just to keep us alive, just in case something crazy happens. You can actually risk it and run Gruesome Feast if you want. If you have more toughness, that's something because Gruesome Feast will give you more damage. And then, of course, Rush of Essence. The Rush of Essence helps out with spirit spells which turn 100 mana over 10 seconds. So basically, when I cast a spell a lot, every time I cast it, it builds up those charges. And if you notice, my mana will shoot back up because I'm getting all the return mana on each individual cast. So it works. Yes, I did. Somebody actually said something in chat, something about Spirit. Debo had an idea if they had 2 charges for Spirit Walk out there, then I just ran a CD just like a monk was TP. That allowed you to go and Soul Harvest out, and since that requires a lot of CD in the long way, the picks from being OP. I suppose. But the big thing is just, long story short, the only way to kind of deal with Jade, I feel, is, since you nerfed the Spirit Walk, you got to buff up the damage so we can get more damage in without having to maybe go in there and do one-hitter quitters. But anyways, that's pretty much what I've been using. That's the skills that I'm running. This is not the most optimal way, but I found this actually work out pretty well to get that extra that army damage in, or get the extra effect of the 6-piece Unimasa. We have movement speed to max, intelligence 655. We have I don't know why we don't have attack speed max, but yeah, it should be attack speed, critical chance, critical damage, and then cooldown reduction, whatever extra points we have into that. Armor, life percent, resist all, and then finally life regeneration. This one should be life on hit, then area damage, and resource cost reduction. Those are the Paragons I'm running. Let's go ahead and up the volume a little bit. And let's go ahead and do a trial rift. As always, I like to start off with the trial rift. I could start off with the other keys I have, but I just want to show how it does in trial rift, and we'll start the first level, then we'll start climbing up and see how high I can go. I heard somebody got to 50. I don't know if I will, but hopefully we can put on a good show for you, so you guys can see the new Zuni or CarnEvil in action. First levels, we don't gotta worry too much about the placement of the Piranhas of Paranado because we're just trying to build up our fetishes. And then once we get up a couple more waves, then we'll start worrying about everything. So this is 21. I'll start using Piranha's Paragon now. And now we're just AoEing everything down. There we go. It's not getting too serious yet, so we don't have to worry about too much here. We're just, like I said, we got plenty of time, we got plenty of damage. We're just running through here everything. As you can see, the damage is really nice. At 275% makes a big difference. And usually I like to cast 3 of the Phantasms, and then I just Piranha's Paragon, then I just start hitting everything down. Occasionally, sometimes I'll start recasting them again just to make sure I get the damage out on everything, because I want them to take that additional damage. Oh, got a couple monsters over here we missed. That was almost bad. I mean, I almost lost out on that. Gotta be a little bit more careful of that. So now, like I said, we're just AoEing everything down, casting out Phantasms occasionally, so we can keep up our fetishes to 15 and also keep that damage up. And as you can see, we can cast Phantasm also while casting with the fetish, or casting with the darts or shooting the darts, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Alright, looks like we got through this pretty fast. Got through that mob, got through this one, and we got one left over here. Perfect. Alright. Keep up the same thing and just shoot through the mob. Keep occasionally casting Phantasms so we can keep that mana spender on them and doing the increased damage. Alright, so this is the part I really got to start paying attention. Start making sure my Piranhas or Paranados and everything else is up properly. And I want to stay close so I can get the reset on my Piranhas or Paragon. There we go. And we got the last one. This one's trying to troll me there. There we go. And then also with the Hex. Looks like we're doing okay. Another Piranhas or Paragon. The mobs stay nice, I'll be able to keep on doubling up like this. Hex is also nice because it hexes the big guys. Well, when it wants to. And it looks like we lost out right there, so we got 37. Not the greatest start, but sometimes you just have a bad one. So we're going to see if we can push this 37 hard, maybe get skipped to 41, we'll see. Depends on how many how much mob density we get. Alright. We got them down, even though they're being a little bit of a jerk. There we go, and we got all our fetishes up. There we go. Right into the next room, just keeping up my Phantasm up, just so I can get that extra damage on the targets. Piranhas and Paragon. Get inside the room. There we go. And like I said, that's pretty much about it. I just want to make sure I get my Paranados, my Hexes, and my Spirit Barrage all working together so I can maximize the damage. There we go. Alright. Mobs being kind of jerk on positioning, but that happens. And as soon as our Spirit Vessel is off cooldown, which it is, or yeah, the passive, we can reproc it again, so that means we can play a little bit more aggressive. Don't know what's in this room. This is a channeling pylon, which means I can cast more Piranhas and Paranados, which I'm not complaining about. Let's go into the next room. Let's be a little bit aggressive, because we can afford to be aggressive, because we got Spirit Walk. There we go. get inside this room. Looks like everything is dying pretty fast, which is good. I want to get into that next room, so I'm going to play a little bit of aggressive. I'm just going to spirit walk directly in here. Not too big of a room, but if I can get my fetishes to respawn where I need them to, looks like we're doing okay. There we go. On to the next room. Just want to keep being aggressive, because with the new amount of toughness that you get for having fetishes out, plus we have some pretty decent gear, hex, we can be a little bit more aggressive and just kind of rush to the environment. Alright, so I need to back up here. I don't want to trip on my spirit vessel on something stupid. Need to wait for all my fetishes to get inside the room. And they're kind of wandering around a little bit. There we go. Alright, so I got all my mana spenders on them. I didn't even take a spirit walk loss on that, or I didn't pop my spirit vessel, as they say. Go. And like I said, mostly I want to get my Phantasm and Piranhas of Paranado up, because that's where a lot of the big damage comes from. Get your damage up to doing like 60 million sometimes. And we're just moving through this Greater Rift, no problem. It's only 37, so it's not that difficult. There we go. There we go. And we also got a power pylon, which is good. That can't do nothing to help. Power pylon, I have to say, is by far probably the most craziest thing with CarnEvil. Like, it's pretty ridiculous, the damage. Especially that the darts pierce everything, and all the increased damage just from Zuni Moss and stuff like that. Works really nice on Rift Guardian. So if you get like a power pylon like on a Rift Guardian, the Rift Guardian just absolutely melts, and there's not much they can do about it. Okay. And we're staying pretty far ahead, so hopefully I can get to 41, 42. That'd be a nice thing. Nice level to skip to. Since we got bad trial luck, we'll just go ahead and Spirit Walk. I'll recast my Hex. Gonna cast my Piranhas of Paramado, make sure I get my mana spinders up and start firing my darts. I got my Hex up, so some of the monsters will get Hex too, which is pretty nice. And as you can see, everything's pretty much just melting. Now, like I said, that's greatly in part because of 275% damage increase. It's pretty immense, especially for a build like this, where you have so many fetishes out and you can control the damage. It's pretty cool. And I think it might actually end up going live, but we'll have to wait and see what Blizzard wants to do. There we go. Here comes another elite coming up. It's going to fire into the abyss. And looks like the elite's going down pretty easy because they're all stuck at the door. And you decided to teleport in the room. Got the elite. Almost towards the end of this rift. Things are going quite smoothly. Someone just asked me, saying, what do you think will be the best top-notch build? It's either going to be Tiki Sack, or it's going to end up being, I think Tiki Sack's going to win over CarnEvil, but I think it's going to be Tiki Sack and CarnEvil are going to be the best builds for Witch Doctor. And it might end up leading into going into maybe Jade coming after that, because Jade did take a bit of a hit, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, let's get inside the room, get our damage out. Gotta spawn this Rift Guardian. I don't know where my fetishes are. Don't like that the guy spawned in a little room. It's Prenandy. Do I hate him or do I like him? He's okay. He's not the greatest in this small quarters, but it's only level 37, so he's gonna go down pretty fast. And like I said, every so often I'm casting, you know, my Phantasm, or my Spirit Barrage Phantasm, just to make sure he keeps that damage debuff on him. And like I said, 23 fetishes all hitting that hard. He goes down pretty quick. We finished with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left. I don't know how many levels that will skip. Skipped us all up to 42. So we're at 42 next. Sorry about the low grid rift follow, but our low grid rift start, but 42 is pretty decent. And that just basically showed you how the build works and what gear I'm using. Things are liable to change, like I said, as the season goes on and we discover new stuff about the CarnEvil build. This may not even be the most optimal way set up, but I definitely think all CarnEvil builds would benefit from trying to figure out how to use Zuni, because a 275 damage increase is pretty crazy. But outside of that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and run these 42s and the other riffs on other videos. If I'm successful in my conquest, then I'll go ahead and post those up there. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Hope you guys like this little insight on the new CarnEvil build with Zuni Masa. Well, it's not new, it's just something that you're adding on to your existing CarnEvil set. And I will see you guys later.